We navigate a society built on the polite exchange of words, but spoken language is incredibly easy to weaponize. People lie, they flatter, and they wear pleasant masks to obscure their real intentions. When you operate exclusively on what people say, you walk blindly into traps. You hire the highly likable friend who ends up destroying your business, or you negotiate away your leverage because you believed a completely false promise. True power is reserved for those who look past the words. It belongs to individuals who know how to decode the silent, subconscious signals slipping through the cracks of the human mask. Trusting the spoken word guarantees you will remain powerless in the actual game of human nature. In the early 20th century, a 19-year-old named Milton Erickson contracted polio. The disease left his entire body paralyzed. He could breathe, he could hear, but the only muscles he could physically move were his eyes. Trapped in extreme boredom, Erickson survived by intensely studying the people entering his room. He watched the micro-gestures of his family members and the physical tics of his doctors. Over months of observation, he realized that 95% of human communication is nonverbal. Erickson eventually recovered and became a legendary psychologist. He proved that reading minds is not a supernatural gift. It is the meticulous, calculated observation of physical tells. This diagram isolates the exact anatomy of a fake smile. When someone tries to deceive you, they force the action using only the tight muscles of the lower jaw and mouth. The upper half of the face remains entirely static. A genuine smile is biologically distinct. True joy triggers an involuntary activation of the ocular muscles. You see a distinct crinkling around the eyes, a physical response that is nearly impossible to consciously fake. Vocal speed provides another immediate read. When a person's words race out of their mouth in rapid bursts, it biologically betrays internal panic and insecurity, regardless of the confident vocabulary they are using. A slow, deep vocal tone forces the listener to wait. It signals absolute comfort, high status, and biological authority. Posture broadcasts status just as loudly. Desperate individuals often engage in pecking, leaning forward aggressively to seek approval or shout into a conversation. By mastering this dictionary of microtells, you can walk into any room and instantly assess the true, unspoken power dynamic hiding in plain sight. In romantic and highly persuasive contexts, people often confuse vulnerability with insecurity. Insecurity is inherently self-obsessed and repulsive. It is the constant internal panic of wondering exactly what the other person thinks of you. True vulnerability translates from a Latin root meaning wound. It is the act of leaving yourself open. When you radiate a genuine openness to another person's influence, it disarms them and draws them into your orbit. The mid-century Hollywood actor Errol Flynn is famously regarded as one of history's most effective seducers. His success did not rely on aggressive tactics. Instead, he projected a relaxed, animalistic comfort that made the people around him feel intoxicated by his total lack of defensiveness. Supreme influence in an intimate setting is never achieved by domination.
It is achieved by radiating an unapologetic openness that naturally lowers the target's defenses. You cannot accurately read dark motives in others if you suppress them in yourself. Every human being possesses a shadow self, a deep biological capacity for narcissism and aggression. History often sanitizes its heroes into flawless saints, but real progress demands strategy. Mahatma Gandhi sincerely believed in nonviolence, but his massive campaigns were calculated to inflict severe psychological damage. He weaponized peaceful marches to ensure images of brutalized Indians horrified the British public. Martin Luther King Jr. employed the exact same tactical disruption. Against the frantic pleas of his advisors, King placed young teenagers at the front of a massive civil rights march. He knew that broadcasting footage of children facing fire hoses and attack dogs would shock the complacent American public and force federal policy changes. Running from your dark side keeps you weak. Acknowledging your capacity for aggression allows you to control it, channel it, and aim it outward as an unstoppable force for actual progress. Pretending to be a flawlessly selfless person is a toxic illusion. It guarantees you will remain completely ineffective in a world that responds to calculated leverage. There is a final layer to this game. The ability to read and manipulate the external world means nothing if you lack absolute emotional control over yourself. This visualization shows the literal rewiring of the brain. Mastery is biological. When you practice a skill for 10,000 hours, your brain physically thickens and connects these neural pathways through deep, relentless, and intensely boring repetition. You cannot fake undeniable confidence. True self-esteem is exclusively the byproduct of the grueling biological acquisition of real-world skill. Consider the musical output of Stevie Wonder. Long before the global fame, he was a blind child repeatedly pressing piano keys, grinding through thousands of hours of tedious finger exercises until the instrument became an effortless extension of his nervous system. Without that foundation of deep internal mastery and hard-earned skill, all external manipulation tactics dissolve into fragile bravado. But even the most masterful strategist is bound by physical reality. In 2018, the renowned author of The 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene, suffered a massive stroke. Overnight, the man who codified power lost control of the left side of his body. His reality shrank to the devastatingly slow process of rehabilitation. Simple, automatic actions like tying his shoes, cutting his food, or typing on a keyboard suddenly required exhausting, conscious effort. Through this extreme loss, Greene realized that true power requires a profound gratitude for the baseline functions we ignore. Real power is acknowledging the fragile privilege of simply breathing, moving, and existing in the physical world. You must learn to read the silent social game. You must relentlessly build your internal skills, but you must never take the fragile, temporary vessel of your physical power for granted. To continue exploring the hidden layers of reality, human nature, and power every single week, hit the subscribe button and follow our channel.